If you're looking to move to Northwest Arkansas, you've probably done some research online and found that there are some pretty wild claims. Some people will tell you it's the greatest place on earth. Others will act like it's become completely unaffordable and impossible to live here. The truth?
You can't handle the truth!
Neither side is really telling the whole truth, and that's what I hope to help break down for you in this video and debunking maybe some of the lies that you might be finding online. If we haven't had the pleasure of meeting, my name's Anthony Mosley. I'm a real estate broker here in Northwest Arkansas, and I help people just like you, after presenting the facts, decide, is Northwest Arkansas, is Bentonville going to be the next best place for you and your family to call home, or not?
It's your choice.
Sometimes it doesn't work out to where people end up moving here. Jumping right into the video, lie number one you've probably read online is Northwest Arkansas is cheap. The truth is, it's cheaper than many metros. You're looking at Denver, Dallas, you're looking at maybe LA, San Francisco, some of these bigger metros to where you can sell your 1,500 square foot condo for $2-3 million, and you can buy a 4-bedroom home on acreage for $2 or $3 million here in Northwest Arkansas. Yes, it's relative. However, in my opinion and many opinion of natives and locals, it isn't cheap here in Bentonville and in Northwest Arkansas, at least not any longer. This may be the biggest misconception I hear. People moving from California or Seattle or Chicago often think everywhere is inexpensive. Then they start shopping for homes in Bentonville and realize prices aren't what they expected. That's right, Bentonville is highly desirable and prices are extremely inflated compared to many other cities, not just here in Northwest Arkansas, but many other cities across the country. But then again, let's not get too far into the weeds. Let's be real. Everywhere from coast to coast has gotten significantly overpriced. So yeah, compared to Austin, Denver, Nashville, you're probably still getting more for your money. Compared to what Northwest Arkansas was 5 or 10 years ago, it's drastically more expensive. Touching a little bit on that nationwide home appreciation, there's also the fact that insurance has gone up. Property taxes are still relatively low here in Northwest Arkansas compared to many other places, but property taxes are going up. Utilities, grocery prices, eating out, the cost of living, which we'll get into later, is also increasing. So the lie isn't that it's affordable, the lie is thinking that it's inexpensive for everyone. Lie number two, traffic is terrible. If you've been watching my channel for any time at all, you know that this is also a relative opinion compared to people that have come from all over the United States. Whenever I hear someone say traffic is horrible in Northwest Arkansas, my next question is always, where did you come from to have that opinion? The truth of the matter is, traffic is getting worse. Even in the short time that we've moved back here the second time, traffic is continuing to get worse and worse, with infrastructure needing to be updated, with road projects not getting finished, or cities and municipalities arguing over who needs to have what budget and who doesn't, who's getting funding from the state or not. Rush hour does exist here, but most communities' commute time is still measured in minutes, not in hours. As far as lifestyle in this section, if you work from home, you're probably not too concerned about traffic. If you have ready access to bike paths or maybe alternate routes that you can take to get to work, and of course choosing the right city can certainly determine your commute time in and out of whatever city or town or business that you work with. If you're a native to Northwest Arkansas, yeah, you're gonna say traffic is absolutely terrible.
This is terrible. Terrible.
It's relative, right? If you come from LA when you're traveling an hour and a half one way, you're gonna think traffic is little to nothing here. But there are still backups on roads like 72, 102. Highway 49 does get congested in the mornings and in the evenings. Multiple other places throughout Northwest Arkansas, there is traffic. But traffic being terrible is certainly relative to the individual. Lie number three, everyone in Northwest Arkansas lives the same lifestyle. The truth of the matter, every city has its own personality. People search for homes in Bentonville simply because they've heard the name Bentonville, but Bentonville isn't automatically the best choice for everyone. If you're wanting to be around the college life, maybe Fayetteville works better for you. If you're wanting to be around more cows than people, then maybe you need to go a little bit further west, like Gravette, Gentry, Decatur, and get out a little bit further. But mind you, development and construction is moving west. Folks in Bentonville tend to live more of a corporate lifestyle, biking and looking for more innovation. Folks that I find more living in Rogers are looking for balance, maybe a little more opportunity and close proximity to shopping. I see my clients that move up to Bella Vista are certainly looking for a slower pace of life, to have access to the lakes and biking, as well as golf and nature. Of course, we can pick apart every city like Bentonville, Bella Vista, Rogers, Springdale, Fayetteville, Pea Ridge, Grabbit, Gentry, Decatur, Elkins, you name it. We could certainly talk about how each town kind of has their own feel, and not every town is living exactly the same because, let's be real, each town is different. Although they might all have farmers markets, they might all have festivals and car shows and certain things. They all certainly probably have a coffee shop and a car wash and probably a storage unit, but of course they're all a little bit different. Wrapping up this lie, the biggest mistake isn't choosing the wrong house, it's choosing the wrong lifestyle. Lie number 4, there's nothing to do in Northwest Arkansas. The truth is, this couldn't be any further from reality. Now, of course, again, it depends on what you consider things to do. Do we have roller coasters here? No. Do we have major league sports teams? No, we don't have that either. But compared to 20 years ago, Northwest Arkansas has so much more to do than it used to. But of course, you could go to Crystal Bridges Museum and see similar art that you might see in the Getty in Los Angeles or MoMA in New York. There's Razorback sports, mountain biking, kayaking. There's, of course, Beaver Lake, where you could boat, tube, fish, e-foil. There's concerts at the Amp, breweries all over the place, coffee shops, the food scene. There's Top Golf, Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue, and multiple events like First Fridays in downtown Bentonville, the Bentonville Film Fest, the Bentonville Bike Fest. There's Rogers Aquatic Center, different water parks, tons of stuff to do in Northwest Arkansas. Walton Arts Center, Theater Squared, go catch a show or a play. Hike, bike, camp, fish, roll, stroll, shop, or do whatever your heart's content. Honestly, you'll probably run out of weekends before you run out of stuff to do in Northwest Arkansas. Northwest Arkansas continues to expand its outdoor recreation, cycling culture, and drawing national attention for its trail system and, of course, quality of life. That's probably why many of you are watching this video right now. Lie number 5, Northwest Arkansas is just Walmart. Yes, the truth is, in the modern era, Walmart started the growth, but it certainly doesn't define it anymore. Yes, Walmart is incredibly important here. In fact, there's many of the Walton family that still lives here. There's the Walton Foundation and many of the organizations that they've created to help with the growth and the change in our area, like the aforementioned Crystal Bridges, like Kohler Mountain Bike Preserve, many of the trail systems, developments and buildings that you see today. But if you've been watching some of my other videos, you'll know, especially by reading in the comments, that many natives and locals that live here already are saying, hey, let's pump the brakes, let's stop on all this growth and development. So what might have started as a good thing with Walmart and the growth and development of Tyson Foods and JB Hunt Transportation, there's all the suppliers that are here. Healthcare scene is growing, startups, technology. There's entrepreneurial growth with different startup companies and different angel investors to help people with development of their businesses and their business ideas. But not all growth is good, and that's certainly for another video. But I would encourage you to understand that there is a lot of growth in our area, and it isn't just tied to Walmart. In fact, many of my clients that end up moving here have never actually stepped foot on the Walmart campus. And no, not all of my neighbors work for Walmart or a vendor to Walmart. If you'd asked me this question maybe 20 to 30 years ago, I would say, yeah, Walmart's probably the single point of failure that can make or break this town, but there's been so much growth and development outside of just the identity of Walmart that no, Northwest Arkansas isn't just Walmart. Lie number 6, everyone here is a local. Well, that is extremely untrue because you're looking at a transplant yourself right now in the shooting of this video. My wife and I moved here in 2006. I'm from Michigan, she's from Missouri. We weren't originally from here, so we transplanted ourselves in 2006 through some corporate jobs and some different sales positions. We relocated and transplanted ourselves again here in 2020. One thing that many of my clients don't realize until they get into the weeds or maybe even move here finally is that they're just like a lot of their neighbors, or the people that they see at the grocery store or meet at church or have coffee with, is they're not from here. They're from somewhere else. We have a lot of inbound traffic from California, Texas, Florida, Colorado, Illinois. Many international relocations to come here also, again for Walmart or Tyson or even JB Hunt Transportation. There's a lot of remote workers that during COVID said, I'm going to leave the pain of wherever they're coming from and going to enjoy the life of the natural state here in Arkansas. Of course, many people are retiring here also saying that, hey, I'm financially independent, retiring early, moving to Northwest Arkansas just to live out the remaining years of my life. I want to be close proximity to my family. So they might not be from here, but their kids are moving here for a corporate job. And so they want to follow the kids and the grandkids and live here also. You'll probably hear more conversations about where people moved from, as opposed to many people saying, oh yeah, I grew up here in Northwest Arkansas. Lie number 7, the culture is small town Arkansas. The truth is, it's a unique blend. What you're going to see in Bentonville, Rogers, Springdale, Fayetteville is going to be completely different than a smaller town like Pea Ridge, Elkins, Grabbit, Gentry, or many of the other small cities farther away from Highway 49. So you go a little bit further out, one town I think that still has its small town culture is Gravette, Arkansas. You can see there's not been a whole lot of change downtown. In Gravette, there hasn't been international influence. There hasn't been corporate professionals that are moving there. There's not a university there. And it being farther away from the mountain biking trails, there's really no cyclists that live out there unless they're maybe riding gravel or road in the morning. You're going to see more farmers, churches, small businesses, longtime locals as opposed to new residents. Whereas here in my neighborhood on the border of Bentonville and Centerton, I don't think there's anybody in my neighborhood that's actually from Northwest Arkansas. If you want to experience the culture of small town Arkansas, certainly get away from metropolitans like the Little Rock area, get away from the Northwest Arkansas area, and you're going to experience a lot more small town Arkansas, where everybody knows everybody. There's one traffic light, there's maybe a McDonald's, but it's small town culture. And that's really a lot of the rub with folks that have lived here their whole lives is they don't want to see that change. They want things to stay how they used to be. The only thing constant in life is change. You might like it, you might not, but that's what's happening. Unless there's certain policies or restrictions in place, it's going to continue to change. Line number 8, everything is convenient. No, mostly, but not always. One thing that many people don't realize about Northwest Arkansas, it's a collection of cities. By now, you've heard me mention multiple different cities, and not just one giant city like Dallas, and then there's all of the different suburbs, or Bentonville, and then there's all the different suburbs. No, there's Bentonville, Rogers, Springdale, Fayetteville. All of those cities all merged together, but it's not just one city like LA that spreads so far, or Denver that spreads so far. There's diversity between cities, which means that not everything is convenient. My family and I just flew back from a trip, and we flew and connected through Dallas. There's Dallas Love Field. There's Dallas International. I hear there's a new one, if I'm not mistaken, coming in McKinney to serve that community. Of course, we have Northwest Arkansas National Airport, XNA, that really serves our entire region. Now, each town has their own municipal airport, like Thaden Field, Rogers Executive, Springdale has an airport, or Fayetteville has an airport. There's not really great healthcare access in Pea Ridge or Gravette. You need to come in to town like Rogers and Bentonville for healthcare. And of course, if you watch my channel for very long, you know that Costco is not convenient. It's not close by. Our closest Costco is going to be 2 hours away up in Springfield or over in Tulsa. I wouldn't say that that's convenient, but do we have all we need here? Do we have grocery here? Do we have bulk shopping here? Yeah, of course we do. There's Walmart everywhere, as well as Sam's Club and a few other grocery chains that we can go shopping at also. Speaking of shopping, of course we have the Promenade in Rogers, but if you're looking for a wider variety of furniture or sporting equipment or art, you're certainly going to find the limits of that here in Northwest Arkansas. Maybe have to travel to Dallas or Kansas City to find what you're looking for. Earlier we had talked about things to do. Yeah, there's entertainment here, but is it convenient for you to drive from Northwest Arkansas up to Silver Dollar City in Missouri? Some people would say, yeah, it's close enough. It's a couple hours away to go ride a roller coaster. But I would encourage you to choose where you live based off of your daily routine. A 10-minute difference in your commute may not sound like much today, but over 5 years, it's certainly going to change your quality of life. Some of our regional leaders increasingly emphasize that housing, transportation, and infrastructure decisions are interconnected as growth is going to continue across multiple cities rather than one centralized metro. So as you're thinking about the convenience of mountain biking trails, of shopping, of your job, or of your church, or things that you enjoy, you have to pick that ahead of time. And of course, partnering with the right person to help you do so is very important. Line number 9, growth is all good. It is not. It is not all good. In fact, I think, again, we really need to pump the brakes here in Northwest Arkansas. Let some of the dust settle on the nice-to-haves and really focus on the need-to-haves, like the infrastructure, like roads that need, one, paving or widening, like sidewalks, like water supply and water sewage, electricity. What resources are we going to run out of in the next 5 to 50 years if we don't do something about it now? The truth is, growth creates opportunity and challenges. Growth brings jobs, restaurants, entertainment, and investment, but of course it brings more traffic, higher home prices. We price out a lot of the natives and locals that already are from here, live here, that can no longer afford the lifestyle of many people moving here because it's cheaper than where they came from. Of course, there's construction and school growth, infrastructure needs that we mentioned earlier. So growth isn't something that's necessarily good or bad. It's something that you need to understand before moving here. In fact, I just had a family decide. They said, hey, Anthony, you know what? We decided Northwest Arkansas, after all our research and spending some time here, it's not for us. They moved on. They were concerned about infrastructure growth. They were concerned about access to natural resources. They were concerned about many things. They were really concerned about our region growing far beyond even what it is doing right now. And they didn't want to be a part of that. They wanted something that was going to be a little bit more insulated. So if that's you, understand, Northwest Arkansas might be for you, or it might not be. At the end of some of my videos, I like to do a rapid fire round. So let's go ahead and dive into some rapid fire lies. You need a 4-wheel drive to live here. Lie. Summers aren't that hot. Lie, especially June, July, and August. You'll love it if you hate the outdoors. Kind of depends. You don't really have to live outdoorsy here in Northwest Arkansas. That could go lie, that could go truth.
Could go either way.
You can live anywhere and have the same commute. Lie. This last one, you'll make friends quickly if you get involved. That's the truth. My friend, it's always a pleasure to put this information together for you, and now you know a little bit more about what life is like in and around Bentonville. Thanks for watching.